Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Amri b'nei Reb Chia, the sons of Reb Chia said, Jerusalem shamru tzricha b'dika k'neged b'nei me'ayim. So yesterday we had a whole discussion about animals that with their claws they inject venom, bacteria, venom, whatever you want to call it. They kill other animals with their claws. It's called a drusa. So we have a machlekes rishonim. Taisus brings over here the nira de'esh b'dika afilu levade drusa, but he brings the rivam that says only suffix drusa. Okay, so ayin sham and Taisus. The point is a drusa or a suffix drusa. We're not sure 100%, but we are sure. There's a way to check it. How? You open up the animal and you look not on the intestines but next to the intestines. And because the venom travels after it gets injected, it doesn't just stay there. It wreaks havoc inside the body. It keeps on burning. The Lashon of Gemara is burning. It keeps on going up and until it hits the intestines. Once it hits the intestines, then it makes a hole in the intestines and it becomes straight. Omer Rav Yosef. So we might hear, Kineged B'nei Me'ayim right over here. Beautiful picture. Oops. Like that. That whole area underneath, you have to check. Do you see it on the screen? Yeah. Yep. Okay. Not a big chiddush. And we're going to have, because once we say this lashon, the Gemara is going to repeat itself a number of times. This halacha you just said, you know what? Shmuel already said it. Oh, he said it already, Shmuel. Yes, Jerusalem Simanim. What if a cat? So we spoke about a chatul, a cat. We spoke about a lion, also type of a cat. Lion for sure. Grabs an animal by its neck. On the Simanim. Perhaps Simanim could withstand the venom. Oh yeah, in Jerusalem Simanim, maybe not. Here, same kind of lashon. We already saw this halacha. Here we go. The entire innards of the animal, even all the way up, like in this drawing, the pink circle, all the way up to the kanem veshet up here. You have to check everything. So we had Reb Amitai ben David by the Shechita show us how the simanim are ripped open. No, not this one. No. Okay, no. When you have the kind of the veshet that are popped out, they're not really attached strongly. How much are they detached? Same lashon. You already said it. What's the problem? 51% detached kana veshet. That's the problem. When the meat of the animal starts rotting, decaying, how much? The fourth time that we have it. You wait until it becomes a little red, not touching the ma'ayim, but even opposite the ma'ayim. In other words, below the intestines, let's say it's over here, it will travel slowly and hit the intestines and make it straight. So right there, once you see red there, it's all over. Says the Gemara, once it starts decaying, you pretend that whole area is gone. So let's say a heart starts decaying, a lung starts decaying, so it's gone. Gone, no heart, no lung, trace. No kidney, liver, no liver. If it's gone, it's okay. Animal could live without a liver. Animal we're going to see without kidneys also. So that wouldn't be a problem. So it depends on the organ. Let's see the new Gordai, what he did the second time. If not, we'll go to the first one. No, not that one. That's the original. That if he peels it down and then, the meat, on the left you see decaying meat. On the right, if he's able to peel it with a fork. Says Gemara. So as long as the doctor peels it down and you see the live meat, that's nismasas. Interesting story. They bring a lung. It's a type of a lung. So here's the story. They come up with the lung. I have a video of it. You take the lung, you plop it down on the table, it looks perfect. But when you try to pick it up, small pieces fall off of it. So what's that lacha? Here, let me show you what it looks like. Here it is. It's on the table, looks normal, right? As soon as this guy lifts it up, it starts falling apart into pieces. So, we said that it's treif based on, go over there, please, Darton. The shiur is not for you. I'm talking to the flies. We said that it's treif. Why? Based on the halacha that we said that any time that the doctor peels it away and sees the meat, it's treif. Okay. You listen to me. Good boy. Dead boy. Rav Nachman Omar bekoitz at shetinok of the chol. Jumping to Malchalach, yeah. So we're finished. So the halacha is if you have a thorn, when it punctures the inside of the animal, that's treif. Why? Because now I have to be chayshish that it already got all the way in. Maybe it punctured the intestines. But drusa, when you have a drusa mishiyadim b'nei ma'ayim, we had this before, when the meat becomes red opposite of the intestines, even before the intestines, because it's going to travel. Rav Zvid Masna Hoche, and Rav Zvid says, "V'drusim mishiyadim b'as keneged b'nei ma'ayim." The simonim, and the difference is in simonim atchiyadim simonim atzmam. When it comes to the trachea and the esophagus, then they themselves have to be red. When it comes to intestines, even the meat below it is the intestines are sensitive enough that they'll be affected by that venom. Omer Papi, Boy Rav Bibi Barabayo, Veshet, or Daf Nundal, on top, Veshet Nikuvasi B'mashu. When you have the esophagus, one tiny hole makes it treif, just like this. Little hole in the esophagus makes it treif. Drusasai, when it's a drusa, it's mashu. Now you're telling me, yeah, kana nikuvasa b'ki iser, drusasa b'kama. When it comes to the trachea, the breathing tube, it's a much larger hole, the size of a coin. What about drusa? He said drusa by the esophagus, by the eating tube, is a small little hole. What about by the breathing tube? Because the breathing pipe, the chazarah is much larger. It's not a small hole. The chazarah has to be a large coin. So maybe when it comes to drusa, it's a different size also when it comes to the kana. When it comes to the veshet, there's two sizes. There's one size, it's mashu, whether it's for a hole or whether it's for drusa. But it's a small little hole. Now you take another pipe, you take the breathing pipe, it's not a small hole. The treif is when it's a large hole, like this. So what about drusa? Maybe it's also a big hole. No. Kana and a veshet, small little hole for a drusa. My taima, or small little discoloration, red discoloration of venom, that's a drusa. My taima zira mikla kali va'azu, because the venom keeps on going deep into it and keep on moving and burning up the flesh and will create a problem with the kana. 4 lines down, Yosef Rav Yisrael Bar Shmuel Bar Marza Kamei Rav Nachman Yosef Kalmar, he said, Drusa Shamru Tzricha B'dika Keneged B'nei Ma'ayim. A drusa, we have to check the bottom, the B'nei Ma'ayim. Let's see over here, Nachamo. Keneged B'nei Ma'ayim, this picture right over here. Okay. Rav Nachman Omar, Holy Kim, Moir Borav Mikapo V'adatmo, from a spoon till the thigh. Now, what's typically a kaf is a kaf yad. In Hebrew, this kaf yad. It's this. It's like a spoon, but there's something else. My kaf, or my kaf, the yada. You're telling me the. So over here, for an animal, it will be a little different. It would mean the actual. Here we go. The shoulder. So this would be kappa. So says the Gemara, if you're telling me that, Ilema, my kappa, the yada, and it goes all the way to the thigh, so you have to check all that area. Isn't that identical to this that we just showed a second ago? This one right over here. It's the same arrow, same amount. What do you gain by calling it something else? Just say bnei mayim. Says Gemara, right? So let's take a look at it here. First, we thought it's from one thigh bone to the other, but which is the bnei mayim. Now take a look at the arrow. It's going to grow. Oh, bnei mayim is in there. And the Gemara says no. It's from the thigh bone, the rear thigh bone, all the way to the brain. That's also called a kaf. So it's talking about the brain, the kaf of the brain. Says the Gemara, when Rabbi Yosef came up to Eretz Yisrael, he bumped into Rabbi Yochanan and Shlokish. Unbelievable. And he was sitting in the saying, you should check the whole bnei mayim like you saw before. So he said, Barav, I heard Rav and Bubble say something else. Mikapa vadatma. Not the bnei mayim, but from the thigh all the way to the brain. Manu Rav. Who in the world is Rav? Anyways, who's this Rav that you're talking about? He literally didn't know who he was. He wasn't familiar with him. People keep on mentioning halachas from Rav. I don't even know who he is. Rabbi Yochanan hears this. So when he hears Rabbi Rabba of Rabbi Chia, you don't remember this Talmud that served the famous Rabbi Yehuda Anasi and Rabbi Chia, the author of all the Brises. Well, he came. When that Talmud was in yeshiva, when that Talmud was sitting down in when we were learning, I had to stand. In other words, Rav is more choshev than me, says Rabbi Yochanan. Altzbacher, I don't know today, but Altzbacher, Rav, says Rabbi Yochanan, I used to stand. What's it? Rav sat. What do you mean you don't know who Rav is? Uman Gevaru, he's unbelievable, he's a great man. Gevar B'Koila. He was great in everything, in Torah and in Chasidus, in both. So says Rish Lakish, you're right. I remember he has a great name. We're going to mention him for the good. And he said this thing in his name, Shmuto Shchuta Kshera. If you find the trachea, the kana, dislodged, but it's also shechted, kosher. Why? It's impossible for a dislodged trachea to be shechted. How are you going to shecht it? It's dislodged. It's moving around over there. So what you do is you take this dislodged trachea and you shecht it now, again, a second time. And you compare the colors. If the colors are the same, that means it's no good. Because that means the color that occurred after the shechita, which is the new cut that I just made, is identical to the first one. If they're different, then you know that it's a good shechita. Why? Because your cut came after the shechita and it looks like this. And the first one looks different. It was a good shechita. It was connected. You didn't grab on to the simanim. Yeah, Kobe did a great job here. He helped me out a lot. Oh, there's a shmuta v'shchuta. Dislodged completely, out of place. Shchuta. Now let's see. Maybe the next one will be the one we're looking for. Yeah. No. Yeah. What was this? Oh, I don't know what that is. But here he's literally in our shchita. He's holding onto the simanim. You can see the simanim in his hand. If you grab it, now there's no reason. So even if it's dislodged, you could still shecht. Before, Rabbi Yochanan says, oh, how are you going to shecht it if it's not attached? It's wiggling around in there. You're not going to get a good cut. No, but if he's holding on to it, he's going to get a good cut. It's not a right that it wasn't dislodged. Okay, next sugya. Zaklau. So we learned in the Mishnah, last thing in our Mishnah, the famous Mishnah of Elu Treifos, there's a rule. After we say all 18 Treifos, there's a rule. What's the rule? That if an animal gets some sort of injury that causes another animal, usually another animal will die from it, that'll create a Treifa. Says what is this coming to include? So to remind the Olam, Shev Shmaitza, the 7, that's the name of the famous Sefer, based on this, I guess. That when the Mishnah says there's 18 treifas, but in Zaklau, I got to add another 7. There's really 25. The Beyosef Rishba Mochu Begidon Shaya, fascinating story here. The family of Yosef, the hunter, he was a hunter. To remind the Olam about the hunting, we had a Tana that he would hunt. He was such a good hunter. They would take an arrow and shoot a bird out of the sky as it was flying, cut its 2 simanim, the bird would fall down, and they would check, make sure it's not a drusa. As the deer is running by, you shoot him with an arrow, you hit him in the gid anasha. Now he can't run anymore. His sciatic nerve goes. Could you eat such an animal? Could you run, grab him, he's limping away, and shecht him? Yes or no? Well, it will depend if you created a treif or not. Now, it's not brought down in the Mishnah. It's not brought down in the Shev Shmaitza. It's not the 7. So what is it? Here it is. There's some picture here of hitting the... Okay. Here's the sciatic nerve. We're not allowed to eat the Gida Nasha. And in the Shechita, he showed us exactly where it is. It's very obvious where it is. Oh, here we have a video? Oh, that's why I couldn't see. Wow. That's a beautiful video. That's Benny talking. Oh, I think we saved it. We have this in the freezer. Bachu begided in a shayva katli. They were first hit in the sciatic nerve, in the gidon anasha, and then they'll check it. Also, the kameh, they reviewed him and say, and he paskin. You can't add more than the Mishnah says 18. You can't add more. What they did is okay. You're allowed to eat that meat. The animal's going to die. So the Gemara is going to address it in a minute. The Bay, Papa Barabba, same story. Another family. They were also the Bay Rav Papa Barabba Rishba. I'm saying it twice. Once for the Hebrew, once for the English here. Also a hunter. Machu bekulya v'katli. They would hit the animal, the deer, let's say, in the kidney. And they would have to make sure not to puncture the kidney on the other side because it would touch the intestine. Says the same thing. You're hitting it. It sounds strange that you're shooting an animal in its kidney and you could eat it afterwards with the shechita, of course. But you can't be moisef on what the chacham said. But at the end of the day, it's going to die. So why is that not a treifa? If you give it the right medicine, it will live. So, but obviously you have to say that only applies to things that are not in the Mishnah. But the 18 things in the Mishnah, let's say it has a hole in the heart. You can't give it medicine or give it a surgery and say, hey, this thing is going to live 5 years. Once the Mishnah says that's a treifa for all generations. Says the Mishnah, very similar to what we had the first Mishnah of our parak, but the reverse. The first Mishnah is Elu treifos. These are what causes an animal to be a treifa you can't eat. And then this Mishnah says, Ve'elu ksheres v'behema. What's kosher in the animal? Nikva hagargeres. You take the trachea, the kana, and a little hole in it is okay, as we said before. Oishin nizdika. His nizdika, you have a slice that goes, as long as you have a little bit on both sides, you have the slice. And what's interesting that we learned is that with the trachea, if the animal bends its neck to eat grass, it's going to tighten up. It's going to schlep it and make the two pieces come together. So that's actually good, because then it'll start healing. The problem is if you take action, let's say it's sliced the other way, so every time it bends its neck, it keeps on popping open, so it'll never heal. Atama techsar, how much do you need from this kana to be treif? There's a coin called the Isser Talki. If the skull is something went missing there, but don't worry about it. The membrane that surrounds the brain is not punctured, kosher. Even though a piece of listen, people live without pieces of skull. Little babies live without they have a big hole over here until the skull fuses itself. You can live without it. Nikav alev, even a hole in the heart. Here's the picture. Oh, first let me show the picture here. It's all in order now so we can see it. Here, a little bit of the skull is missing. Kosher. Here's the heart. As long as the hole doesn't penetrate into one of the chambers, kosher. Nishbara Shidra. Wow, everything is in order. Unbelievable. Kobe. Shkoyach. I'm having it on now. This is without the spinal cord. The spinal cord is intact, but the bone is broken. The bone is okay. You can live without a vertebrae. It's kosher. Nitla kaved. The entire liver went missing. Oh, here. No, there's another picture, not in order. Maybe over here. Let's see this one. So, anyways, you see the liver. The liver went missing. Now, boom, gone. As long as a piece of kazayis it doesn't have a kazayis there, but you get the idea. The kazayis has to be there, a little bit. Why? Because the liver regenerates itself. Even if you leave a little, it'll go back. Beautiful. Here's the picture. So, as you can see, again, the food goes into the keres. From the keres, it drops into the basic koisos on the right, then goes into the hemsis on the left. It's beautiful how it looks. It looks like a honeycomb, and this one looks like this. But if you look closely, there's a hole from one to the other where the food goes in. He goes ahead, and he makes another hole. There's another hole with a needle here. You see the needle go through and through? Gurish is geschehen, favos. Val dessen darf savisai arangain dalton. The food anyway has to go in from the basic koisos. So you made another hole. Yeah. Nothing happened. Adding to the Rebbeinu Shalom thing, it's not recommended, but it's not. What's the problem? Problem is if it has a hole in the outer layer, food seeps into the body. Oy vavoy, it becomes a zihum. How do you say zihum? Not even. I don't know. There's a better word than infection. Oh yeah, I'll make an infection over there. I don't know what I'll do. When we opened up the animal, it was perfect. Everything was clean. You can't even imagine what's going on in there. It's like Apple factory floor. It's like everything's white and clean and perfect. It's all in the right place, and this moves this way and this and that. Nothing touches anything. Imagine and people die from this, that they have a hole in their kishkis and the intestines. Stuff goes out, and it's very dangerous. But over here, not. So that I just showed you, so I don't have to show you again. Here's the wow. I love how he did this, and I didn't show much of it. But take a look at this. Sometimes these parts pop out. No. But here, this is the tchel. Okay, the spleen. Ditla kloyos. The kidneys go. So that's what Avi was saying, that he looked it up, and animals cannot survive. Somebody was tiding that they found out, the science found out that kosher animals could survive without kidneys. Okay? I hear. It's not possible, Nidal lechi atachton. Lechi atachton, here we go, lechi atachton. The lower jaw was removed. Nidla imshala. So they made a picture for that. I'm not going to show it. There's no need for that. No, it's all kosher, but whatever. We don't have to get into it. The womb was removed. The charusa b'dei shomayim. If the lung shriveled up because of something, act of God, not a human being. What does that mean? It got scared. So they made a video for that. Let me see if I can find it here. Isn't it laklayas? Look at this. Wow. 2 human beings came and took the kloyos. Says the Gemara, Mishnah. Oh, hagluda. Remeir machshir, so this animal that doesn't have skin, Remeir says it's kosher, Chacham says it's possible. Itmar. The first Mishnah of the Perek means these are the treifos, but when it comes to this Mishnah, it's lav dafka. Elu cheiros is going to be other ones that are kosher. And Rish Lakish argues always on Rabbi Yochanan, almost always, Elu cheiros dafka. It's our Mishnah that's dafka, but the first Mishnah is lav dafka. So what's the nafkemina? We're the Michael Miflagi B'dir of Masna. The Omer of Masna comes in a nafkemina like this. Haybuka the atma the shof meduchte. The amount of art that we have here is crazy. Look, if you snooze, you're gonna lose. Upper back thigh bone, all the way by the tail. Take a look over there. It's gonna pop out. Boom. Dislocate. It's a treifa, he says. Why is it a treifa? Think about it. What makes it a treifa? Because it might be similar to something that's missing or something that's broken. I don't know. Let's see. When the first mission is, these are the 18. And guess what? Book of the Atma is not one of them. You know where it is. It's in the list of Shav Shmaitza. Here, let's look at the Shav Shmaitza list. So many things. Book of the Atma is number 1 on top. Yeah? Right there. Boom. But he says, hey, it's not in the Mishnah. Book of the Atma, right over here. You see how it pops in there? And there's a little bit of that. That's from the Shechita. So, it says the 18, but at the end it says Zaklau. And Rav Masna, it seems like it should be, it makes sense to the Tana that Book of the Atma, this thing popping out of the socket, is in the general rule of a treifa. My time and why, the Damalin and Tule. It's like something missing. Like a liver is missing, here it's missing. Tana treifa, that's what he says. How do you with the treifa, the Ramasik Sheira? No. It's only these and not anything else. No, we start from our Mishnah. The Dafka is on our Mishnah. So in other words, each one's going to say, this one's Dafka, the other one mimics the Lashon. Why does it have a Lashon Elu? Because the two Mishnahs have to be symmetrical. But Reb Shimon Lakish Elu Ksheir Dafka, our Mishnah is the main one. Tana Treif is Tana Zaklau. And it says, these are the treifas, and this is the cloud. That's the first mission of Chazal Reb Masna that cloud. And I don't want to put Reb Masna in there. Why? My time it doesn't. It's not a hole. It's not broken. It's not missing. It's not completely taken out. Why is it not taken out? Because it's not completely taken out like a liver. It's still there. That's why our mission comes along and says so they're Reb Masna treifa. So it comes out exact opposite. Rechon holds that a book of the Atma that pops out of the socket, kosher. Rish Lakish holds book of the Atma is treif. Zok the Gemara, Gufa, Amra Masna, Hai book of the Atma, the Shof Meduchte treifa. If it pops out of the socket, it's treifa. Rav Amak Sheira, it's kosher. Why be Yivsik and Yivik treifa? But Rav says, if the sinew, what is it called in English? The tendon, the ligament, ligament's better. The ligament tore, snapped, it's treifa. But you should know that's not true. If the economic share, if it tears and snaps the ligament, it's kosher. Until it gets eaten up. From the corner, how much is missing? You don't know what it is. So Italki is you take this coin from, how do you say it in English? Kurdistan? Something like that. Yeah, you take a Kurdina coin, it's like this, the small pshita coin. You want to find it, go to Pumbedisa. Omer Reb Chana Pasura, so Reb Chana, the money changer. Says Reb Chana, listen to this. He's brought in the Gemara. In other words, he's like a Tana. And he says, one day, Bar Nafcha shows up. Who's Bar Nafcha? The son of the smith. The guy that works with metal. Who's the son that works with metal? Rabbi Yochanan. The famous Rabbi Yochanan. His father seems like it was maybe a simpler person, a smith guy. How do you call him? Not a smith. A smith, how do you call him? No, but the word is smith, but does it have a blacksmith? Maybe blacksmith, yeah. He says, Reverend shows up at my shop. Why? He wants money, coins. He could show the Talmidim how big is missing from the kana, and it makes a treif. This is an amazing story. I try to stand up. Like Yoni Meisels works for Ari Simon. He doesn't own the change. I wanted to stand up, go like this, like you do for a gadol. Rabbi Yochanan, the gadol Adar in Eretz Yisrael. So he was the greatest. V'lo shafkani, and he said, it's also for you to stand up for me. Omar li shave v'ni shave. Sit down. When you work for somebody, so says the Gemara, and I'll bring you a raya. Now it's not a raya, kasha, v'loi, but nan. We're talking about the Bikurim. So now they're coming to Yerushalayim, and all the workers get up and give them a lot of kavod. How do they get up and give them kavod? You know how to stand up. You have to continue working. Now these guys look like they were battling over there. Maybe there's a store no one. Okay. Fine. The point is, see they got up for them. B'shoyel, listen to this. They say to them, so one akuda that I want to point out here, it's unbelievable, human nature. If the whole Yerushalayim, they all got up for you, Givaldik, but they're not getting up for you. They get up for you, and you, and you, and you. Thousands of people coming, and all thousands, everybody gets up and gives them the whole kavod. Yet it feels so good to get some kavod. You know, a little kavod, even if you know that everybody else is getting it. It feels geschmack. It's kavod ameduma. It's called kavod. It's fake. All kavod is fake. But this is mamish obvious. No, it still gives a guy a little, tickle. Like, it feels good. They stood up for me. No, it's not for you. It's the other guy. I know he's not standing up for me. He's standing for everybody. The whole tzfat is here. The whole tzferia. The whole Bet Shemesh just came. Everybody. No. So that's one nakuda. Another nakuda. Beautiful nakuda here. Says the Gemara, and we're done with this. Just want to say this nakuda. You'll stand up for the people bringing bikurim. Why? Because we want them to come again next year. And whatever the pshat is, either the pshat is Chacham have the right to be mafkid in the chasim, or maybe the pshat is that every owner wants his employees to stand up for them. It's a cover for him. Look how much it's beautiful, this mitzvah, when you do it. Have a wonderful day.
Merit the zchus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shiur today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.